goods, types of package, and descriptions. Airway bills, on the other hand, in a consignment note that shows that contracts between the shippers and courier company. Now, according to Investopedia, airway bill is a document that accompanies goods shipped by an international air courier to provide detailed information about the shipment. In a press release cited by Maritime and Port News, the Ghana Airport Company Limited noted that airlines that fail to adhere to this directive will be sanctioned. It's noted that GACL will stop the offloading of all unsolicited cargo on arrival at the Kotoka International Airport and fine all offending airlines. Now, global terminal operators are showing an increased appetite for high-risk greenfield projects in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic. According to industry analyst Jory, global port capacity is projected to increase by an average annual rate of 2.4% to reach 1.38 billion TEUs by 2026, even as economic and geopolitical uncertainties have contributed to an overall downgrading of the cargo demand. Now, while majority of global terminal operators' investment plans remain focused on existing assets, there has been a notable increase in the number of greenfield projects, referring to those that are built from scratch rather than on existing site. Jory says in its latest Global Container Terminal Operators Annual Review and Forecast Report, adding that CMA Terminal and TIL are expect to add 4 million TEUs or additional greenfield capacity by 2026. Now, late container charges known as detention and demurrage (D&D) in the United States are the highest in the world, according to a recent report by Container Exchange. Detention is the charge the merchant pays for holding an ocean carrier container outside the port, terminal or depot beyond the contracted fee time. Now, in this portion of the contract, an ocean carrier stipulates how long a merchant can have the container before charges are imposed. Demurrage is the charge related to the merchant's use of containers while in the port. Now, the merchant is allotted a certain amount of free time to have the container in the port before charges are incurred. Now, the merchant pays the ocean carrier a fee if the merchant goes beyond the amount of contracted free time. This charge is to motivate merchants to move their containers out of the port. Port congestion has been a big factor in inhibiting the swift movement of containers out of the port. Recently, the Port of New York and New Jersey announced it would levy new charges against ocean carriers to encourage them to move empty containers out of the port and free up space for the processing of containers more efficiently. The delay in picking up and dropping off containers is increasingly having effect on our ports. Now, according to Container Exchange, the Port of New York and New Jersey ranked number 1 in the world in charges. The highest rate and delay at the port come as no surprise to the Federal Maritime Commission, that's the FMC, which has been investigating reports of carriers charging container charges even when the shippers or truckers cannot return the container due to terminal congestion. Now, if you just join us, you're listening to Maritime and Port News. Sri Lanka has granted permission for the Chinese space tracking vessel Omanfm to dock at a port that China runs. The Hambantota port is the southmost in Sri Lanka and has raised the concern of India. The Chinese space tracking vessel Omanfm was given permission to dock early next week at Sri Lanka's southernmost port, Hambantota. Now, Sri Lanka said that the Habantuta has been a Chinese-run port since 2017, when Sri Lanka and China signed 99 years lease after Colombo struggled to pay back debt. The Yunhan 5 survey vessels is described by security analysts as the latest generation of China's space tracking ship capable of monitoring satellites, rockets, and intercontinental ballistic missiles. Washington has said Yunhan Class 5 ship are operated by Strategic Support Force of the People's Liberation Army. And finally, Israeli container shipping company Zim has invested $5.5 million in a container tracking firm as the market for smart containers is set to explode. Zim revealed itself as a participant in the Serie A financing round alongside other new and existing investors in Hupu Systems, now a provider of tracking solutions for upward asset like dry shipping containers. The investment is intended to help Hupu develop technology for the maritime industry, including the use of solar power tracking devices for containers. According to the president and CEO of Zim, Eli Klickman, there are approximately 26 million dry containers worldwide, and Hupu's cutting-edge tracking technology has the potential to revolutionize the way industry players track their movement, enabling further optimization of container fleets. According to shipping industry analyst Jory, the market for smart is set to explode in the coming years as supply chain stakeholders are seeking to gain more visibility into freight movement as supply chain have descended into chaos during the COVID-19 pandemic. In April, German ocean carrier Hapag-Lloyd announced intention to equip its entire dry box fleet, representing approximately 3 million TEUs, with smart devices as it seeks to become the first mover in the space. On this note, we'll wrap up this morning's edition of Maritime and Port News, proudly sponsored by the Ghana Shippers Authority. They provide you with the best in oil shipping solutions. You can always contact them at the Shippers House in Accra. My name is Nanesi Boateng, producer, Kwikwa Bwaji. Have a great day.